You know, I used to love going out. When I was 13, 14, 15, that's all I wanted. You know, I was sitting playing games all the time with my friends on this computer, this exact computer. But something felt missing. I felt jealous because I've seen other people in my school year, other people a wee bit older too, going out, drinking, partying. And I wanted that too. And eventually I got it. You know, when I was 16, I started going out consistently. The first time I drank, I was 15, but I didn't start really partying, you know, every week until I was 16. But I was so addicted, man. I was so addicted and I didn't see it at the time, even when I was just going out once a week, because eventually I became a full-on addict. Eventually I was doing drugs every day, even in my own home. You know, I was fucking taking money, taking drugs off my mum to try and fuel my addiction. I was doing shit like butane, which is lighter gas, but I got warning signs the whole way, even when I was just going out once a week, like so many people do, and they consider it normal. I was extremely addicted. You know, I seen it when it was time for COVID. You know, the lockdown in the UK, that was around the start of when I was starting to go out. But lockdown came, and my parents, they wouldn't let me out. So I remember that day I got so angry that I fucking couldn't go out. Ah, it's not fair, blah blah blah. I didn't see obviously at the time that was because I was completely addicted. People, they talk about like once a week, twice a week, like it's nothing, like it's fine, like. But once a week's quite a lot. Like imagine you poison yourself just once a week. Just a wee shot of arsenic once a week. Maybe some chlorine the next week, blah, blah, blah. You would die pretty fucking quickly. Now, yeah, of course, taking drugs, drinking isn't as extreme as like full on poison. But I mean, they're poisons at the end of the day. Especially when you start to abuse them. Of course, you get medicines that can help people, blah, blah, blah. But when you're abusing them, when you're trying to have fun on it, it just will wreck your mental health, wreck your life like it did for me. And so many young people are addicted like this and they don't even realise it. I mean, I didn't realise it all week. Back then, all week, all I'd be thinking about was when I was going out. I'd be sitting in school, oh, I can't wait to go out. You know, the teacher was talking, I couldn't take any of it in because I couldn't wait to go out. Maybe I'm going to drink some vodka or some whiskey. I wonder what drugs I'm going to try, you know, later. When I started doing drugs, I was like, oh, I might go and buy Xanax or LSD, I might try shrooms, all that. It steals your focus. It makes you just focus on the weekend or what drug you're going to do the next day. And people don't see that as an addiction. Only when people start doing it every day, they start to see that they're addicted, like me. But holy fuck, I was so addicted when I was doing it once, twice, 3 times a week. Because people think it will give them relief, you know? People think, oh, I need to go out. I need to go out because life is stressful and it gives me that relief. The truth is, a lot of that tension is created by the addiction, the drug itself. You know, that's why it's an endless cycle. That's why even when you get high and eventually you get sober again, it's still there. And you need to go out again and again and again because that addiction is creating the tension. The drink, the drugs, whatever is creating the addiction. They're creating the tension in your mind, thinking, oh, I need to do it. And sure, sometimes there is some real tension. Maybe it's a job you don't like, slaving away for 40 hours for minimal pay. Maybe you're doing shit in school you don't like. Yeah, sure, that does create tension in the mind. But when you go to drugs, when you try and escape that through drugs or drink, like I fucking did, will wreck you, you know, because I was so convinced that this was the way, that this is what I needed to do while my life was on hold, while I waited for my goals and all that stupid stuff that I convinced myself. But what I didn't see is I was regressing. That I was going downhill and fast, that I was never going to get any of my goals doing that because I was just focused on trying to run from the pain and I got weaker and weaker and weaker. So I needed to get high more and more and more, and eventually any tiny little negative feeling bugged me and I had to go get high immediately, which is why I just did stuff like steal off my mom because I couldn't cope. Like it was so intense. But this is what happens. This is what happens when you try and relieve that tension with a vice. It doesn't have to be drinking drugs. Any vice will do this to you. This is why addiction is so horrible. This is why you need to do good habits. I mean, life's all about habits. That's all these addictions are, bad habits. You know, I was lucky I got in the gym quite early. And throughout this whole time that I was doing drugs, I was at the gym. But mate, the gym is so fundamental to my life. So fundamental. It's created me into the man I am today. It's made an unbreakable mindset. It's made me so strong and it's made me actually value my life and my health. But the best thing is the mental strength because of course a lot of the time you don't feel like going to the gym. Well, now it's different. Now because I've been going for like 6 years. I love it. I always look forward to the gym. In fact, I regret when I can't go. Like today, all my bones are just aching. I don't know if I'm sick, overtrained, or whatever, but it was shit that I couldn't train this morning. But at the start, it's not like that. At the start, you never feel like going. I remember plenty of times when I was young, a teenager, I just couldn't be arsed going, and I'd be talking to myself, blah, blah, blah. But it's funny, because at the same time, I was still walking to the gym, because I had that fire. See, back then, if I was drinking and doing drugs at the same time, I was never fully solidified the habit of going to the gym, but I started going before I started partying. So I had that fire in me. We all have that fire in us, but most of us don't feel it. Most of us don't feel it because we're just dulling ourselves. We're going out drinking on the weekend. And a lot of people, they only really feel that pain, that fire when they get older. I got it when I was young. That need to improve, that need to be great, that need to get better and better and better. Everybody has it, but when you're scrolling on TikTok, smoking a joint, doing lines, you dull it. And then you don't feel it as much, or maybe not at all if you're unlucky. But honestly, that is the key to life. You know, a lot of people think the way I live is insane. I get up most nights at 3:15 in the morning. So I go to bed at like 6. I work out 5 times, go to the gym 5 times a week. Twice a week I do MMA. And then on my rest days I'll do yoga. And then sometimes with my friends I'll do an extra bit. We'll do a wee workout, we'll spar, we'll go for a hike. I eat completely clean. I'm on like a carnivore diet. You know, I don't eat any carbs. So the only carbs I really get is in milk. So I just eat milk, eggs and dairy. No sweets, no fucking junk food, nothing. You know, I take care of myself, I value myself, and of course I'm doing this, the YouTube. Most people will be too afraid. But see, you know what's pushing me to do all these things? That fire. And that's why even now I'm so extreme compared to when I was doing drugs, because that fire is massive. Because I'm not dulling it with all these escapism, all these vices. And yeah, sure, I guess maybe I've traded in one addiction for another. Maybe all humans are meant to be addicted to something, but you get to choose your addiction. You want something good, something bad, something that's going to help you grow, or something that's going to put you in living hell. Maybe take your life. Look, do not dull the fire. Hey, look, if you want to be a loser and just grow up and be average like everybody else, like all the generation above you, if you look at them, none of them achieved anything. I mean, a few did, of course. That's inevitable. But most of them are just fat, overweight, slightly depressed, maybe fully depressed, working a job they don't really like, going nowhere. It's because they decided to pick up that fucking ball, that joint, whatever, when they felt uncomfortable. What are you going to do? I know my choice. I know what I'm going to do. Remember, you're better than that bag. You're better than that ball.